Hey, welcome to weekday coronavirus-driven mind stuff. My name is George Ortega, and it is Sunday, July 5th, 2020 at 3:29 p.m. And I'm experimenting with like some different lighting. It seems to work out a lot better than the lighting I had before. I'm also experimenting with I was sleeping until a little while ago, and I tend to stay up nights. I've been playing a lot of bass guitar, and I'm getting into this 60s, 70s rock and all. So I decided to not comb my hair, see how this works out. Anyways, first thing I want to say is I'm going to change the name, and I'd like to, I think I will, I think I'll be able to change the name and the theme of this series from weekday coronavirus-driven mind stuff, to what I've been started talking about last week. Just this idea that if we're going to be free from future pandemics, we're going to have to transition from farming animals to cellular agriculture, otherwise known as lab-grown meat. And I'll get into it later. So now I'm trying to figure out, because this is going to have a religious component to it, because I'm religious. So going to tell you, hold on for a minute. I want to see if I get a little color there. That's a little better. All right. Or is it? Let me see. Yeah, no, I don't know. Can you see the difference? I don't know. We'll go with the color, whatever. All right. So anyway, so actually I gotta so I got to read this. So what I'm going to read you is some, I'm trying to come up with a name for the new series. And here's what I've come up with. Here's and I think I finally settled on something because I want it to be more clear. I want people to find this and understand this and maybe just, disseminate it through the internet, whatever. So the first title that I came up with was M through F, meaning Monday through Friday, COVID, God, your evil, redemption. I don't know, that's all right. Then I came up with Monday through Friday, COVID, God, evil, redemption, and more. Because I'm trying to stay weekday coronavirus-driven mind stuff is 36 characters. I'm trying to stay, because that's a long title as it is. I didn't want to go too long. So anyway, then I went to Monday through Friday, again, M through F, COVID, you're evil, and then I stopped there for, two of these times I stopped. Then I went to Monday through Friday, COVID, sin. Oh, I gotta have coronavirus or COVID in the title. So hold on, future COVID-19 all right. So because I'm gonna I'm about to get to what I think will be the title, but we have to see. All right, the next one was Monday through Friday, COVID-19, sin, amends, and more. The idea that this is happening to us because not me, because I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan for over 15 years. You, your friends, your family, everybody is ungodly evil. I mean, such evil. It's it's hard to describe how evil. And you don't get it. You don't get it. This series is going to be about helping you, to reform. It's kind of sending you to kind of a virtual penitentiary, reformatory, so you can get your conscience back. And I'm going to try to be nice about it. I'm not going to try to beat you over the head over this because as you know, I don't believe that you have a free will. And I changed my my sign to the happiness show for a while. I'll probably change it back to free will eventually, I guess. But anyway, so so the next one was Monday through Friday, COVID-19 and forgiveness from your evil. So I'm getting a little, see, because I want it to be as again, as clear and understandable as possible. The next one was, well, a little less, you know, COVID, Monday through Friday, COVID-19, evil and forgiveness, but that's a little too vague. And I think because this is all up to God, you know, this is all, you know, God is like the final and only arbiter on this, you know, I just go through the motions. So anyway, like what I think God is having me settle on is weekday ending future COVID-like pandemics. I was going to have COVID-19, but I think COVID-19, you know, that would be like 2 hyphens. So I need or maybe future coronavirus-like pandemics. Because then, again, like just for the search purposes, for search engine optimization, all that stuff, so people find the show and know, you know, I gotta have either COVID-19 or COVID at least, or coronavirus. So, and I haven't counted these up. I guess. So anyway, so that's where we are, and so yeah, what I'm going to do, and this is going to be an experiment, because like Monday through Friday, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to repeat this message over and 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 over. I mean, we're on. Wait a minute, I forgot to mention what episode this is. This is episode number 61. All right, so I got to get the approval from the station manager for the name and theme change, but you know, pretty soon I'm going to be starting this. And again, it's like the idea is to yeah, to drill it into you, to just say it so often. And you know, like the idea is like hopefully I'm going to be saying pretty much the same thing over and over, but hopefully each time I say it, I will say it better. You know, I'll say it more convincingly. And like, I also hope that this is all up to God. I mean, I don't know what God has me doing. You know, I'm trying to like help out, but you know, like, you know, I don't get how you guys don't get this. You know, I really don't. You know, it's not rocket science. It's not brain science. It's like, you know, this is simple. You know, it's really evil to being complicit in this farming of animals, whether it's family farms, which isn't all that evil, but the factory farming, which is most of the farming, is beyond evil. And that you guys don't get this is beyond understanding, but you know, that's what I'm going to try to get you to understand. So like, yeah, if it, you know, again, this is episode number 62, I said. So did I say 62? Hold on. Getting old. This is episode number 61. Sorry, 61. So and it's good because, like, you know, like just as a brief aside, so I you know, I've been playing bass a lot, you know, like 4 hours a day, and this is great because, like, I've been trying to do this for 35 years, but you know that saying, well, you know, Nero fiddled while Rome burned. That's what's been in my mind. I don't know if you could see that. I had my whatever, you know, it's like, I don't know what's being filmed. If like, for example, I just called up my episodes thing, and I don't know if that's you know, appeared on this cable cast. Who knows? Anyway, so I don't think it did. So, because I mean, I could share my screen, but I think otherwise, you know, we're fine. But anyway, so like, you know, in terms of my memory, I got a pretty good memory, but I'm just thinking, because like, you know, learning, for example, a new language at my age or playing an instrument is supposed to help with memory, so that's great, you know. All right, enough with this side. So let us go through this again. And again, I'm gonna, you know, this is an experiment. This is also art. The art of like getting it, of saying it until you get it. And I did this with free will. You never got it. I'm sorry. After 216 episodes, they were weekly episodes, where this is like daily. In other words, like I've produced enough episodes in 2 months about, you know, I started, I think, April 13th, May, June, July. So almost 3 months, right, actually. You know, to you know, that with my other shows, they're weekly shows. So like, you know, in almost 3 months, I've created an entire year of what would have been weekly shows. So like, and I'm going to keep going 5 days a week, and so I'm going to repeat it until you get it. So, all right, let's go through and I wrote myself some notes. I'm going to like write them in a bit more detail eventually. So like, okay. And I'm going to like, I'm definitely going to bring God into this because like 80 or 90% of you believe in God or a higher power. The rest of you guys, you're clueless. I'm sorry. To believe that God doesn't exist is to believe the universe doesn't exist because God is everything. And to believe that God doesn't exist is to believe that the laws of nature don't exist because the laws of nature, guess what? Govern everything and God governs everything, all right? And if you believe that God is all-knowing doesn't exist, well, how could like the universe be everything and not know everything? Give me a break. All right, anyway, so the first point is like you hear pundits, politicians, people who just are kind of like clueless in a way, because they say, oh, this is a 100-year event because like the last, pandemic like this was the Spanish flu, 1918, so 102 years. And I've been wrongly saying that it was started in a pig farm. I read that someplace, but I think the consensus is that it started in a bird farm. Killed 50 million people, more than World War I. So we haven't had anything that major in that time. But the reason this isn't a 100-year event is because, and this is where I'm gonna like, I definitely gotta like get more organized for this. I gotta have an outline of these points so I can just like go through them. And so like, all right, one reason is there are a lot more people on the planet now than there were in 1918. So there's a lot more farming going on, okay? And the more farming, the more risk of some bat or snake or wild animal infecting, a pig or a chicken or a cow, and then those domesticated animals infecting us like COVID-19 and all these other pandemics. And I really should get more specific with that. I hope God has me do that because like, God has had me like just throw my hands up in the air and just like, what do you do? I mean, you guys should be getting this. I shouldn't have to do this, but whatever. So anyway, so this is not a 100-year event. I'm going to write Dr. Michael Greger, who's the author of How Not to Die. He's a nutritionist. He puts out a lot of videos. Nutrition.org is, I think, is his site. And he had a great video, where he, he has a presentation that he did, and part of it he just shows with a graph how like from the early 1900s to about 1980 we had hardly any epidemics. Like I don't know if it's in the United States or the world. Like, it's probably the world. And then all of a sudden things start shooting up, like a hockey stick, like just really and like. So the idea is like, because we have so many more people and we're farming so much more, we have more pandemics. And also the other part of this is that we have transitioned to a great extent from family farming, small farms, to these factory farms. And the factory farms are much, much less sanitary. These factory farms are breeding grounds for pandemics. In other words, like, unless you do what I'm suggesting, and I'm not just the only one, there's a few other people who, started doing this, but not nearly as many as it should be actually. But unless we transition from farming animals to, growing this meat in labs, or just stopping eating meat, ideally. I don't think we're not going to do that. But unless we do that, it's not a question of like whether there will be another pandemic as bad as this. It's a question of when. And it could happen in 5 or 10 years. Because another thing is like in 1918, there wasn't that much air flight. There wasn't much travel between countries. Think about it. Now, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, and air flight has gotten so inexpensive that like, everybody flies. So like you have people flying all over, and this, and you have people traveling all over here in the United States, like, New York City was the epicenter, now it shifted to like California and Texas and Florida and some of the southern states, Mississippi, South Carolina, Louisiana. And so like now they're getting, I think Florida had 10,000, 11,000 cases yesterday, and these, they're going to be coming up here. I mean, like the governors in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut just decided to, like, they're going to be on highways, and if they see an out-of-state plate, car, they're going to like question, listen, where are you going? What's your business here? And they're going to like, I think it's a law, I don't think it's just a suggestion that people who travel here are going to have to self-quarantine for 14 days before they do anything, which means that if you're here on business, on a business trip, good luck with that. You have to stay in a hotel or motel for 14 days before you can conduct that business trip. All right. So anyway, so like this is, I'm not going to, I've got about 11 minutes, 12 minutes left. So that's the first point. This is not a 100-year, event, an every 100-year event. This, we might get the next one in 10 years, and it might be a lot worse, because like, what we're doing is beyond evil. It's so evil that, we're lucky we're getting off so easy. Well, no, I'm being punished too, I guess, because I haven't been like, you're being punished because you're so damned evil, just, buying that meat and eggs and dairy, knowing what these animals are going through. You're complicit in this economic, horror, torture. I don't buy into it, but like, I'm sucked into it, I guess, because I haven't been doing enough to try to get you to understand. But so anyway, so like these pandemics, and again, I gotta like get an outline. I gotta like, again, Dr. Michael Gregory, excellent video. I'm gonna maybe ask him for permission to just show parts of it here. I can share my screen and see if that works out. I don't know, but yeah, these pandemics are all caused by animals. And okay, the only way that we're going to be safe from future pandemics is to stop farming animals, not just wild animals, not just factory farms, but family farms. We have to stop it completely, because otherwise we can't ever be, relatively safe. I mean, like what I'm suggesting, I think will be 99 point whatever % safe, so, and again, if you want more detail, go through the last several episodes, which I go through. And again, I'm going to get more organized, because now I've got like, God has given me a mission, he's given me like a plan. And so like when God does this with me, like with the happiness show, I started like the world's first television series on how to become happier. That went 138 episodes. Then that was like from 2003 to 2006. Then in 2010, God has me start a 216 episode television series on the fact that nothing is up to us. You don't have a free will. And remember that's very important to keep in mind in this show, because I'm gonna like be indicting you for being horrible people that you are. But when you say it, you mean like, if you were to say that you are horrible or other people are saying, you're saying that you're fundamentally responsible for that horror, for that being so evil. When I say it, no, it's a different message. It's a lot kinder. In other words, like I'm saying, yes, you're committing this evil, but it's not your fault, because you didn't raise yourself. You didn't create yourself as such an evil being, so you can take solace in that. You shouldn't feel guilty, but if you value your life and the life of your kids and grandkids, you should absolutely listen to what I'm saying and talk to everybody about it and make the changes that you need to make. And stop, go vegan, if you have to, because like, all right, so like, the next step is like, so yes, the only way we're going to be safe is we're going to have to transition from farming animals to a completely plant-based diet, a vegan diet, and I don't think that's going to happen. and or it's probably going to be a combination. We're going to have to like have a combination plant-based diet, and for those of us who want to eat meat, I wouldn't mind eating like a cheeseburger if it was like, if the beef was grown in a lab, and the milk to make the cheese was also grown in a lab, and it was, you know, absolutely no animal cruelty. I have no problem with that. I mean, I wouldn't eat much of it because, like, you know, eating meat is the #1 cause of heart disease, you know, and a lot of people, you know, I think half a million people each year, I don't know if it's the United States or the world, I think it might be the United States, you know, die of heart disease. Now, maybe it's the world, I don't know. I gotta like, all right, so I'm gonna get organized with this, get these facts straight. But anyway, so that's the only way we're gonna be safe is if we transition. So, all right, so again, not everybody's gonna go vegan. So we are so lucky, you know, God closes a door, he opens a window. In 2013, there was a proof of concept where Dr. What's his name? Peter, oh, what's the guy's name? He's from the Netherlands. Mosa Meats. Peter, I don't know. Anyway, this doctor, he's you know, he's going to be a giant in history because of what he you know premiered. He basically in London, he demonstrated to the world that it is possible to grow meat in labs. And so like he got about $1 million grant from Sergey Brin of Google, one of the co-founders, and he demonstrated there 3 hamburger patties. Mark Post, his name isn't Peter, Mark Post, sorry. Or Post, I think it might be, he's from the Netherlands. So anyway, 2013, so this isn't a coincidence. I mean, come on, get real. You know, God is telling us it's time to stop eating meat. It's time to start growing, no, it's time to stop eating animal produced meat, you know, animal farm produced meat, and start transitioning to this new meat. So like, in other words, like, God's being kind to us. God could have just said, listen, if you want to be safe from future pandemics, you're all going to have to go vegan, so no more milkshakes. I mean, they can make, actually, they have some like plant-based, you know, ice cream and stuff that's really good. I mean, it's way too expensive, you know, but they can make it. But like, you know, like these new meats that Post and these guys are creating, there's about 40 or 50 startups working on this. They are identical, literally identical biologically to the meat we now buy, you know, and this is chicken, fish, beef, pork, whatever it is, milk products. Actually, the first, you know, what's coming on the market perhaps next year is going to be the first lab-grown cellular agriculture breast milk. So it's probably going to be healthier than the breast milk that comes from female breasts. But I think it's probably better for the kids to breastfeed. It's more natural, whatever. But for whatever reason, that's not possible. It's better to like have kids consume human milk, you know, that's grown in these labs, you know, than cow's milk. I mean, come on. All right. So anyway, so like, so now here's the thing. We could, you know, for this industry to really ramp up, scale up to where these products are in supermarkets at an affordable price, because now, you know, the price per pound of, let's say, hamburger, maybe, I'm just guessing, because I got to read a book just came out. If you want to learn about this, there's 2 books. One of them is called Clean Meat by Paul Shapiro. He was the past vice president of the Humane Society of America, a very, very famous and influential animal rights organization. And the second one is by a new guy, I don't remember his name, but it's called $1 Billion Burger. And I read a little. I'm not sure it's written as well as Paul's, but you know, I'm gonna read it and hopefully I get some more you know, details and all this stuff. But anyway, I think where they're at now is it may cost, you know, $50 for a hamburger patty and stuff. So you got to get it down to like where it costs, you know, a couple of dollars for a hamburger patty or less, $1 or whatever, you know. And they can do this, but the problem is they need financing. They need, you know, research funding, research and development. And so here's the last point in this, and I'm gonna, again, these are the points I'm gonna be repeating over and over and over until you get it. Hopefully you'll get it, because you should get it. I mean, this is, again, this is not, you don't have to be, you know, if you're not getting it, it's not because you're not smart enough, it's because you're evil. You don't blame yourself for being evil. It's not your fault, but you're going to pray. That's the thing. You got to remember, like, all right, so God controls everything, right? And trust me, Einstein, Newton, Freud, and Darwin, these are like our top scientific minds. They're on my side on this. You think you're right and they're wrong and I'm wrong. Think again. So anyway, oh, now I lost my train of thought. See, I got a little testy, a little, you know, combative, and that's what happens. So anyway, yeah, the financing, sorry. The, you know, we could wait at the rate of funding that they're getting, you know, we might have these meats available in 10 years, but like between now and, like, you know, we'll get out of this pandemic thing hopefully within in a year or 2 or 3, who knows. But then, like, if we either live in fear after that until the next pandemic, or we swiftly, rapidly transition to this new industry. So here's the last point. I've got 1 minute and 30 seconds. We just spent almost $4 trillion to revive the American economy. That's not even including the rest of the global economy. And we're going to spend several trillion more, you know. And how clueless, how mindless is it that our politicians, they probably don't even know about this new industry, this new way of growing meat that's 199 point whatever percent pandemic risk free. They probably don't know about it. So, like, you know, I would guess there wasn't a penny in these $4 trillion they've spent so far on this new industry. So I'm suggesting we spend at least $50 billion, you know. Again, spend $50 billion now, so you don't have to spend 10, 20 trillion dollars, because it could be a lot worse the next time. So we don't have to worry about this. All right, well, we got through another episode. And so yeah, I'm gonna email the station manager, you know, with the suggestion for the name change and the theme change. And I will get, you know, I'll start, you know, the new series sometime this week, and God willing, I will be a lot more organized with facts. And, you know, I'm going to start reading that book, and, you know, so yeah, I got to get organized with this. I've given up hope on, that's the thing. I gave up hope on you. Now God is having me revive hope that you'll finally get it if I do this stuff. All right. Hope you're having a great Monday, and I will see you tomorrow on weekday, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.